Hello and welcome back to ProjectSeawolf. Today I'm going to be trying fiberglass for the first time. I've gotten away with never having to mix epoxy or do any fiberglass work ever. Even on my old boat, never had to do it. But it is going to be a big part of the rebuild process on this boat. And as such, I have been collecting fiberglass equipment for years, and so I have rolls of fiberglass. I'm gonna put these as like the kind of like doors to the at least I'm gonna clean them up and make them the doors to the storage things that I make. And I brought a couple of sheets of Divinyfoam. It comes in these big boxes, and yeah, I've got the super thick stuff for the structural, and then I've got thinner stuff for not so structural and like panels. The goal is to have a place to sit, because this is the first day of a 4-day stint that I'm doing on this boat. I'm a couple days from the mast coming down, which is super exciting, but also means there's a lot of work to do. And yes, I would like a place that I can sit and sleep if I want to. And what better place than the settee to start with, across from the galley, with the table and everything that comes down into a bed. And then I'll have cushions on board for the first time since October. That'll be exciting too. Okay, so I am on the boat with all the equipment I brought. It took quite a while to get it all up from the Jeep. So I've got some biaxial roving, I've got some chopped straw, actually a lot of chopped straw, and then I've got some really nice woven mat, a ton of epoxy stuff, resin and hardener. Took a look at this old boat, which had the best advice, but Don Casey's, both general sailboat maintenance and then hull and deck repair. Basically all the sections in hull and deck repair are in the sailboat maintenance book, so those are good. Realized I didn't have wax paper or brushes, so I'm gonna go hop to the store and get that. Maybe pick up a margarita mix or something on the way. Got all the panels situated. So this one was actually a pull-out drawer, or like a flop-down drawer, or like a fake drawer. I really don't know. But I'm going to basically turn this. Well, I guess I could hinge it like that, but that would be interesting actually if I hinged the whole thing. That might be cool. Got these panels. I don't know how I'm gonna make them detachable and put them on like vertical wise, because this is where people like rest their backs, so I can't have like a tab or anything, so I gotta figure out like how that's gonna work. These are pretty straightforward. I just need to refinish them, make them nice. Oh, they have a finished side and a not so great side, so maybe just do that, but clean up the inside of the storage areas. Yeah, there you go. And then it was kind of funky. This is where they had their battery bank. So I gotta figure out a way to how I'm gonna arrange this in here, because I'm not completely sure where I'm gonna put the walls and the floor of the storage, because I want this to be storage. I'm not sure, because if I go straight down here, let's see where it rests. Okay, it rests right there, so that's actually okay. So maybe I'll do that. Just build some foam wall, some Divinyfoam wall here, around here, yeah. And then sand that smooth and get rid of the old tabbing. So it's coming together. That's good. Might not need a whole lot of foam for this part of the project, but there are parts that need to be filled. I mean, like not right now, but like eventually. Funky bits. Maybe while I'm doing that, I can cut out this little bit here and then tab this into the hull here and then that'll create a continuous shelf kind of deal. Can't really do much up here until the mast comes down and I get these chain plates out of the way. Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of fiberglass flying in here from this stuff, and it really needs to happen as soon as possible. Mission success. Also, yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build a flange around here so it sits vertical in there, cut a finger hole right here in the tops of all these, and then put a button magnet so that you can just do that and it snaps in with the magnet and the cushion will hold it against there. So it really doesn't need to be that strong, but square these out, make them nice, put the flange in, and then put the button magnet on. I got the wax paper, got some more brushes, brush supplies. This conveniently fits the vacuum hose, so that's pretty great. And Bahama Mama Bacardi. What I'm looking at here is tabbing in this up here. It's kind of an awkward angle, but yeah, just fill this with thickened epoxy and then tab it in along the bottom. There's a, down here goes to the rest of the underside of the boat, so probably use the 1/2 inch Divinyfoam here, create a little box down here that goes down to there, so it extends the wall down to the bottom. Trim these screws, tab in up there, and there's a wall here that I can tab into as well. And these pieces of wood look pretty good, just need some sanding and trimming, and then I'll put some wood finish on them. Yeah, so that should be good. Okay, the finger sander, this Ryobi finger sander, wow, that thing digs holes in fiberglass like I've never seen before, and I wish I knew about it sooner because it might have made some of these previous projects a lot easier. Yeah, so I went around this edge, smoothed it out with the Ryobi finger sander, dug out this tabbing with the Ryobi finger sander, and then used the DeWalt multi-tool or oscillating tool to dig out the rest of the tabbing and clean that up. So then I'll clean it up a little bit more, and then I'll put a foam shim in and then tab it in with the shim. And so like I think that's kind of like a good term to use for this gap here, because there's a gap all along here that I can fit like my pinky finger under. So I'll just put a foam shim under here, and then tab it against there. So that might be the 1/2 inch foam. Just kind of shove it in there and then tab it over. Build out the walls down here and tab in this top bit. And then we'll have the first storage area. Yeah, and then this thing goes up top. And then I'll just clean up the edges and everything. And it used to be screwed on. Okay, do that, and then grab one of these bad boys and cut out a new panel, just like it is over here, and then I'll have another storage area and tab it in along the inside in there, and then also create the flange for the panels. So. Okay. Gotta figure out how to clean it up without compromising the epoxy that I'm gonna put over, so I can't just power wash it. I have to use acetone and a brush. So the acetone is working really good, and it smells like nail polish remover because that's probably what nail polish remover is. And it reminds me of my mom because my mom always painted her nails, and I don't know, it just smells like home to me. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so I really like that smell. Can't tell if it's the rum mix or the acetone at this point. Okay, the surface is pretty clean along where I want to put new fiberglass down. So in the areas that are super tight against the hull, I'll just use thickened epoxy. In the areas that are big gaps, I'll create some shims out of Divinyfoam. Especially down here in this huge gap, there's going to be probably structural thickness Divinyfoam, which is 1/2 inch-ish. Alright, so this is the first time I've ever tried using Divinyfoam or cutting it or anything. I have my stencils that I made of the large gaps in that storage area. So it goes like this, kind of like that, and then this one is this way. So I'm thinking of making this 1/2 Divinyfoam, and then these an 1/8, because this one takes weight and these ones will not. So yeah, make the structural bit thicker. And this is the, I believe, 1/2 inch? Yeah, 1/2 inch Divinyfoam. So I'm going to take the stencil and mark it out. This stuff was not cheap, so I'm tracing large. I can trim from there. Okay, so that should be around about the shape that I want. And then I've got a Total Boat hot knife. Ooh yeah, like butter. Ooh, buddy. Okay, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do when it gets to these long bits, because yeah, the long bits are gonna require that I go in like this, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so you can go out and add an angle and get it done. Get her done at an angle. Okay, that works pretty well. Good thing I got a lot of ventilation in here. Jeez. Okay. Delicious caramelized Divinyfoam. Okay, hopefully that works out a little bit better. This angle. So, when I flip it up, it should fit fairly snug right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So I would say that's a pretty good dry fit. Should probably be wearing gloves so that I don't get oil on here. But yeah, hopefully it will sit vertical like that. Thickened epoxy around the edges. And then I'll do another thickened epoxy along the edge itself, the connection, and then I'll tab it in and put chop straw over the top after I get all the others and wrap them all together. So I have right here tabletop epoxy Pro Marine Supplies, which is equal parts A and B. However, I have the pump system for Total Boat, and I'm going to learn with the tabletop stuff and and then use the pump system later. So this is equal parts, so it should be 4 ounce, 8 ounce, and then I'll thicken it with 404, which I've heard is actually way too strong, but it's the only thickener I have right now. So yeah, I'll just use this. Maybe some chop straw. No, I'll just use this. And in the future, if you're doing this with bonding other stuff, perhaps you should go with the 407 or something. But yeah, this stuff is like lighter than air, like really bad to inhale, so that's why I'm wearing a mask. So here we go, my first time mixing epoxy ever. Should be exciting. So the plan is to mix quite a bit of it, which might be a mistake. I've got a mixer here. And then putting it into a plastic bag, which is then put into a syringe. Perhaps from the cup, we'll put it on the new bulkhead kind of thing, the new separator. So use this, put it along here and here, make it really thick and globby, press that into place, right? And then go back, fill up one of these with the thickened epoxy, and then fill along the edge. I got this idea from Adam Voyager, if you're wondering. He uses thickened epoxy with these syringes. So I assume I would just fill this with acetone to clean it so that I can reuse it. But we'll see. But yeah, he goes from the cup to the baggie to the syringe. So hopefully that works out okay. I'm gonna put 4 ounces of epoxy, which God knows how old this thing is, because this came with the boat. Okay, maybe 4 ounces is going to be way too much. So maybe we'll go with 2 ounces. And then 2 ounces hardener. Okay, it's about 2 ounces. Very thick, very thick. Then we'll fill it up to the 4 with the hardener. Oof, this stuff leaked, so not great. The hardener is a lot thinner. Just kind of eyeballing it. Did not do a good job of keeping bubbles out. Allegedly, you want to mix slowly to keep bubbles from happening. And then I've heard you want the consistency of peanut butter. There is a ton of bubbles in here, so I don't know if I did it right. Let's see, is it warming up? I've heard it warms up. Classic, I'll read the directions while I do this. So you mix for about 3 minutes. Mix thoroughly. Brush on, seal coat. Pour your flood coat. Let cure for 72 hours. So it takes 72 hours to cure. I don't know how long you're supposed to wait between coats. So right now it's kind of the consistency of syrup, maybe? Ooh, I really did not do a good job of keeping bubbles out. Thank goodness this isn't going on the outside of the boat. Ooh, perhaps I should have... No, you know what? I'll just mix a new one because Yeah, for the other panels with the thinner foam, they're gonna be butted against the thicker foam, so this needs to get done first. However, if I have some left over, maybe I'll go around and fill the areas that are thin. Looks like I should have plenty left over. Okay, that's pretty thoroughly mixed. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh jeez. Okay, maybe that was too much, but I don't know. Yeah, this stuff can give you silicosis, so be careful. Wish I had a longer mixing stick. Jeez. Really not doing a good job of keeping bubbles out of here. Some very big bubbles. The bigger the bubbles are, the faster they rise to the top and pop though, so I guess there's just kind of a balance anyway. Okay, just put in like probably twice as much. Oh man, I should be wearing gloves. I forgot about the gloves. I don't know if they mean peanut butter on a hot day or peanut butter in the winter. Washington peanut butter is usually pretty solid. I mean, it is becoming more viscous. Let's mix and look for gloves. There's the gloves. Okay, good. Good. Found the gloves. There you go. I'm not too concerned about getting my hands in there anymore. See why people's fingers get really tired doing this. Okay, yeah, it's becoming more and more viscous, so maybe this stuff has a really slow set time. Doesn't really say anything other than the 72-hour cure time. Okay, it's kind of getting snotty. Ish. So maybe a little bit more thickener? Yeah. Get out of here. Talking to the dust, sorry, not you guys. I'm so sorry if you came to my channel as a how-to. This is a more exploratory channel. Installing an electric motor on a sailboat, mixing epoxy for the first time, you know, the usual. I've heard this stuff is supposed to set really fast, so I don't understand why. It doesn't seem like it's hardening at all. Definitely not the consistency of peanut butter yet, as the experts have described. So maybe some more thickener. Of course, if I don't know, add too much, maybe people are freaking out in the comments. That'd be great. I would love that. Please comment anything and everything. It helps the algorithm. Also, if you ring that bell, it helps the algorithm. If you like the channel, hit the subscribe button and the like button. If you really like the channel, if you're learning stuff and having a good time, maybe check out the Patreon. Patreon like actually pays me for what I do, and helps get this boat back in the water. Honestly, if you become a patron at $5 and up, I'll send you a t-shirt. Okay, it is definitely thicker snot now, so that's good. If that's okay, can I use this to glob it on? Oh jeez, alright, I'm making a mess. I should have put wax paper down. This does not seem thick enough, because it's just dripping off. Thickened epoxy. What does that mean? What does that mean? Thickened epoxy. You hear all the channels talk about thickened epoxy, and then they never like really describe what it is, or like how much thicken, or what like thickener they used, or they're just like I just filled it with thickened epoxy. It's like, okay, well, like what does that actually mean though? Is that what I'm doing? Do I need to add more thickener? Just put a ton in there. See if it does anything. Okay, yep, it's turning into bread dough, kinda. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely peanut butter status if I can get it to mix in. Oh man, it's getting hard to mix. Oh, whoa, yep. Okay, it's getting there. I wasn't aggressive enough with the thickener, I guess. So now it's, yeah, definitely getting to the peanut butter stage. Maybe it's getting warm. Maybe a little bit warm. Yeah, so far. I don't know how long it's been. I think I've been mixing this for 5 minutes or so. Okay. Perhaps now. Oh yeah. It's pretty hot. That side does not connect to anything right now. So it's all going on the bottom and the top. It's kind of okay, I think, if I get it on the flat parts of the foam, because that's just going to get covered in fiberglass. Nice thick layer. Hopefully I'll have enough left to weld the seams. Given how long it's taking this stuff to harden, maybe I'll have time to cut out the other bits and put it on those too. I'm excited to see what it looks like tomorrow. Doing this with a popsicle stick, there's probably better methods, honestly. Touching everything with epoxy. I'm gonna have lumps everywhere. Very snotty. Very snotty. But good practice for the children on the way. Literally chaos. Took care of the snots, yeah. So if your kid's nose is just kind of snotty, just lift them up and turn it the way the snot connects, and then yeah, the snot is reconnected to the kid, and there you go. You get all the kid with all the snot. Pro tip, pro dad tip. Drop in. Forgot to turn the kid. Oh my god. Make a real mess of it. Make sure you make a real mess of it, yeah. Wonder if I move, if it's gonna move because I put pressure down on the floor. Okay, it looks like it's staying there. And then I'll syringe the edges of this kind of crappy wall that I made. But hey, it's something. It's something. Where before it was nothing. And then hopefully this stuff from the syringe will help keep it in place. And maybe I'll hit the other side of it too. And the other places I want to put it. Oh, you gotta work fast. It hardens real fast. That's what I always heard, and that's what I prepared for. But no, doesn't seem to be the case. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how Adam Voyager does it so cleanly. Alright, I need that popsicle stick back. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. Oh yeah, it is definitely thickened up now. Okay, great. Got the popsicle back. The gloves were holding onto it. And then we want to get the rest of this epoxy in here, thanks. You know what? Maybe I'll just grab it with my hands. Grab the epoxy with the glove. As is tradition. Oh my gosh. And then slam it in there. Grab that and slam it in there. So now you got a Ziploc full of Thickened Epoxy. This is a disaster. Can't even get the gloves off because they're so slimy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Keep that from setting on here. And then put wax paper down before the next time I put epoxy anywhere. Does Adam Voyager mix his epoxy in the bag? He might. Okay, so now that I have the epoxy in the bag, I'm just gonna scrape the edge here. Carefully put it in the syringe. I knew this was gonna happen the first time I tried to use epoxy. Inevitable that I have a crazy time with it. Now I think it's a little late in the season to be trying to manipulate it down inside the bag, but allegedly you use it like a cake squeezer. Out the corner into the syringe. At least that's the idea. As long as the baggie doesn't get holes in it. And then you squeeze your syringe full. It's a pretty full syringe, mostly. That's a full syringe. Now I'll go and use the rest of the cake batter on the edges. Okay, that's working out pretty good. I'll use my finger along that to try and smear it in evenly down the line to inject it along this. Okay, I feel like that couldn't have gone worse. I got epoxy everywhere. I cleaned it up as much as I could with acetone. Got that clean. Got epoxy all over my hands. Got those mostly cleaned by pouring acetone straight onto my hands, which sucks. I know. The Divinyfoam is in, although it's not. There's nothing holding it to the top. There's a gap there. I don't know what happened, but it just made a huge mess, and I'm tempted to just let the bottom part dry and then just use the plastic bag method to squirt epoxy onto the top, because I know it's gonna sway now if I tried doing that to the top now. Big failure. I tried though. Yeah, so all I can say. Can't even butt the other ones to it right now because I have to wait for the bottom part to dry. What a mess. If it dries nice, I'll be really happy though. And then maybe I'll try it again tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna bring the cushions down, steam clean the cushions in the morning, and then bring them over. And then I will have a place to sit and sleep if I want to. What a mess. My hands are sticky. The table's not too sticky anymore. Epoxy everywhere, including places I didn't intend to put it. Well, there's only one way to gain experience. Only one good way to gain experience. And that's by trying. Well, it's all gonna get painted over anyway. It's gonna be nice in these storage lockers. How long does it take for these to harden? Ooh, no, I don't want to touch it with my finger. Stop myself. By morning, probably. Depends on the weather, apparently. Hot weather, it's supposed to set a lot faster. Okay, I think this is one of those times where the boat won. I'm gonna have to come back tomorrow and try doing the epoxy again. And this time, doing it right. But there's a first time for everything. And kind of embarrassing to have that on camera sometimes. So I'm gonna close up the boat for the night and come back in the morning and try again. So thanks for watching. See you next week.